Welcome back to another edition of Film Room with Coach O'Connell, brought to you by Twin Cities Orthopedics. And Coach, if there was ever a game where we had problems coming up with 3 plays, this was it. But hopefully we got 3 that you like and you're happy to talk about.
Yeah, and I know fans will probably, it wouldn't take a wild guess to at least guess one of the 3 plays that we're going to talk about. But I wanted to start out with this one, Pete, because I think this run, this 81-yard touchdown run, really speaks a lot about where we're at in the game. We knew we wanted to run the football against this team. I kind of got off to a little bit of a choppy start, really a lot of self-inflicted wounds in the run game early on that kind of forced us to have to overcome some longer yardages. Even on that first drive, JJ and Kirk hooking up on that first third down was huge. But we came back to this run, and really there was a couple times early in the game where we thought if we could just get hats on hats in the box, and then our receiver, specifically JJ here is the single, if he could get control of number 3 here dropping down the safety, that would be the impact of this whole play. So what I want Vikings fans, we're going to take a while and spend some time on the catch heard around the world, but I think it's really important we see this in a momentum time in the game. We were down 17. I call just a simple standard run for us, and we'll take a look at it from behind here in a second, but I want people to see the best receiver in football. You can see him right now. He's hunting up this block. He knows we had talked about it, how important it is, and we had a chance to get Dalvin one-on-one with the corner if we get this block. And just take a look at what Justin Jefferson does right here. Not only seals that off, but then the little bit of a strain and finish. Gets a little help from 53 there, but we chalk that up as a pancake. And then Dalvin Cook, I think he was 21.7 miles per hour. We haven't seen a Viking run that fast since Kirk's red zone scramble against the Cardinals. But let's look at it from the end zone right here. And you're going to see this thing, just standard Vikings football. We're trying to set this thing right behind CD on this edge right here. You're going to see a great combination to that backer between Garrett and Ezra. Great job on the backside to that backer, and all of a sudden you're going to see a crease here where if we get Dalvin Cook that kind of running room and then get the help, like I said, from JJ on that safety, it could be off to the races. And this was one of those.
Ezra Cleveland on that play to hit that defensive lineman and just knock him a gap over to get to the second level. And then you have 2 defenders there.
No doubt. Let's run it back one more time, because I think you make a great point, because when we get some angles and leverage like this, it still requires our guys to then perform these blocks at a high level. And when you watch it, Ezra's kind of able to knock a very big human being over there, and then watch Garrett finish that thing, the power, the physicality in a moment where we had to have it. You can tell I'm a little shocked there walking down the sidelines. Expected it to go for a nice chunk there, but 81 yards. It's always nice when you can call one play on a drive and let the special teams know they're up.
And when you understand if the play gets to the safety, that's a big play. But as a defensive coordinator, to see not just your corner but also your safety completely miss, I mean that's what keeps you up at night.
Yeah,
I mean, really
the one thing that's really helped us this year with our defense has been the tackling of our secondary against some really shifty, dynamic backs. Our corners showing up, so it's something we always look at, Pete. It's a great point you make right here. And then okay, let's take a little time on this one. People probably recognize it already. 4th and 18. We did some unfortunate things to get us into this circumstance. There was really no other option right here. What we did was we just tried to have a play where Justin just wasn't in the standard spot back here where it'd be a really easy double team on him. So what we did was we move him over here to the slot. And when we did that, we're going to allow him to basically run essentially a corner route that can set high. If he needs to bend it in there, he can, understanding that we just are trying to occupy that grass right there, see if we can get this corner to stay attached to Adam Thielen. And then all we're trying to do as we watch this thing is just give Kirk, the message was pretty loud and clear, and he was on board with it. We're just trying to get this ball thrown to a spot where Justin can go get this football. Maybe a 50-50 ball. Maybe we get this thing thrown up and over that corner. Kirk kind of puts a bunch of air on it just to ensure that Justin had a chance. And then when you look at it, just unbelievable ability. I happened to be standing at the time. We'll never forget it right there, and just saw that football go up, and then just saw his ability to rise and make a play on that ball. Was absolutely really a once in a career type of play to watch from that vantage point for me. And then when you watch it from the end zone, I just want people to see, first of all, we get some great protection. We double chip the edges. These guys were a major pass rush team. Kirk, in a gotta have it moment, has a clean pocket. We're able to let him sit back there, and then he's able to dial up a throw right here. And as this thing pauses, you clearly see this has a good chance to be intercepted. It really did. Where I was standing, I thought it probably was going to be intercepted, but the directive was throw the football. It's 4th and 18. This was a way of getting a one-on-one, even though we knew Buffalo would try to stop Justin Jefferson at all costs in this circumstance. But for him to get his hand on that ball and then the strength going to the ground to be able to keep it from hitting the ground and then kind of, curl that thing in there. Our sideline's going crazy. We were getting ready to run up to the ball because I didn't know if for sure the ball didn't hit the ground. But then the guys up top told me that it was clearly a catch, and we slowed down and eventually pushed the ball downfield.
And the crazy part is with the ties, this predates you, but with the Minneapolis Miracle, it was a similar concept. 3 out into the flat, short, middle, deep, throw it to the deep guy, make a play.
Yep.
It was Diggs a few years ago. Now it was JJ.
That's exactly right.
It's awesome to see.
That's exactly right. And then obviously we did not get to the point where we could just flat out win the game in overtime. It tends to happen when the defense is allowed to play with 12 men at times. We'll continue to work through a good play for 1st and goal at the 2 against 12 guys on the field. I'm working on that right now. But in this case, we end up taking the field goal. We got to hold them out of the end zone at the very least, hold them to just a field goal to maybe have one more drive to go down and try to win it in overtime. What you're going to see here is Buffalo's trying to attack quarters coverage. That's what we're in. They're going to try to occupy Harrison Smith and that. And then like they've done a lot this year, they're running a double post concept. And we're in quarters. Pat P has seen this concept probably 100 times in his career. He was ready for it. But just watch the dynamic nature of understanding, hey, I got that back line to be my friend. So right now, I'm trusting in the fact that not only am I going to have Harrison, but there's Cam Bynum as a possible overlap player to potentially help. If Gabe Davis wants to run across the field, that's not going to be mine. So what Pat's going to do is he's going to undercut this route. And he undercuts it, shaves that angle, and now there's really, it looks like it's the illusion of a lot of space back there, but to get that ball thrown with the kind of up and down, you need to throw it back there. Quarterbacks don't like that picture. So you see Josh Allen's going to drive this football, we undercut it, and then as we've done many times, a couple times this year, it's great to see our guys get that football and then get down, and the celebration was on from there.
Just this thing with Peterson is that he's so smart.
Yep.
It's not because of his speed or anything else. It's because of his intelligence and his ability to watch film and know what's coming at him.
I think that's such a great point because he has transitioned to a new scheme this year. But that didn't, I told him the first day we were getting going in the spring, I want you to apply all of your experience, but in this scheme, and I think it'll help you have one of the best years you've had in a long time, and he's been a huge reason why we're off to the start that we've been off to.
Well, Coach, thank you for your time, and we will see you back next week right here on Kevin O'Connell Film Room.